Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are. How you doing? I'm doing good, thanks for asking. I'm going to tell you today how to turn your blues guitar playing a little bit more jazzy. There's 3 ways I'm going to show you how to do this, but you can be sure there are many other approaches that will work. I'm going to give you 3 that are pretty simple to implement and will make a very dramatic impact right away. The first tip I have for you is a particular strumming rhythm. Here it is. Shuffle. So it's just a blues shuffle. Now this shuffle rhythm is primarily a blues shuffle rhythm, but you're gonna see how it helps the chords that I'm about to show you really stand out. The next tip for turning your blues guitar playing more jazzy is a specific chord structure. And I've gone over this in a previous video, but I'm gonna get back to it again and kind of go a little bit more in depth. So we have the root, 3rd, and 7th. That is going to be our shape that we want to implement on each chord that we play in a given blues, jazz blues progression. So if we're in the key of B, our 1-4-5 blues progression would be B, E, F sharp. So instead of playing these kind of bluesy chords, we're going to play root, 3rd, 7th chords. So a root, 3rd, 7th chord is exactly what it sounds like. We have the root, we have the 7th here, and then we have the 3rd. This is a dominant chord, and we can change it to a major 7 chord as well by turning this 7th flat to major. Or we can make it a minor chord with the minor 7th and a minor 3rd. So I'm going to show you this one, the dominant chord, major 7 chord, minor 7 chord. So that is on this string set, the 6th string, 4th string, and 3rd string. Now the root, 3rd, 7 combo for the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string set is, we have our root, 3rd, 7th. And this is a dominant chord, of course. If we wanted to make this major 7, we would have this. And of course, minor 7, we would have this. So now that you know your root, 3rd, 7 shapes on multiple string sets, you can now replace those blues chords with these jazz chords. So, back to our progression. We're going to change those using our shuffle pattern and our jazz root, 3rd, 7th chords. Already starting to sound jazzy, right? So if you've never practiced these fingerings before, I want you to stop here and really get comfortable switching between them. Break the rhythm. That's the most important thing for this jazz blues, is the rhythm has to be kicking. So you don't need to play it this fast, but you should at least have the basic. Now, this is extremely important to practice to a metronome because you can really get in the pocket by using a metronome. I am fluctuating a little bit, I'm sure, but just for the purposes of this video, I'm not using a metronome. Normally when I practice rhythm comping, exercises like this, I will always use a metronome. So definitely use a metronome. How many times can I say metronome? So I mentioned there were 3 things to make your blues guitar playing sound more jazzy, and here is the 3rd thing. It is the harmonic approach, and what that means is the chords that you use to convey this otherwise standard blues progression. So a regular blues progression will be some form of 1 chord, 4 chord, and 5 chord. In order to make this more jazzy, we're going to insert extra diatonic chords. Those are chords that are within this key. So that would mean including a 2 chord and a 3 chord. Maybe even a flat 7 chord. Whatever you want. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that first, and then I'll break it down. So we have our regular blues progression: 1, 4, 5. So I'm going to play the blues progression the first time through just using the 1, 4, and 5 chords, and then I'm going to throw in some of those extra chords that I just mentioned to show you how you can make that blues progression much more jazz sounding. So as you could hear, that was a complete over embellishment of our regular 1, 4, 5. I used a 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, flat 7 chord, 6 chord, and then back to a flat 3 chord, and then a 2 chord, and then a 5 chord, flat 2, back to 1. Super jazzy, but I went through those chords using the shuffle rhythm and I didn't hang on them too long, so they were just really filler chords outlining our 1, 4, and 5 chords. Now when you're soloing, that is a whole nother ball game, because you can either choose to follow those chord changes that will produce a more jazz sounding solo, or you can stick in the blues, which would obviously be a bluesy solo. I like to mix it somewhere in between those two. So I will definitely do a lesson on that later on, but for now, just practice these chord shapes and inserting different chord shapes based on what key you're in, and experimenting with it. It's really fun to have this new sound available to you if you've never really delved into jazz before, and it'll be easy for you to put into your playing because I'm sure you're familiar with the 1, 4, 5 regular power chord rock stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you have any questions, of course, please send me a message or leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.